Hello, I'm Karen and welcome to part two. If you actually watched part one, I stopped at this point because I did say that I just needed to pop to the ladies' room and also I checked while I was gone on my telephone call, and it was a call from my dad, and I phoned him back up to ask what he was calling about, and he was like, "I was just texting you all the details." My dad's got to go back to hospital, so he's just going to need me to be his taxi service again, um, in the nicest possible way. So what I do is I go to hospital with him, and because of all the medications that he has, and he has to bring home with him because he's having another one of his long lines fitted in, which is a big tube that goes up into his vein, um, and then he mixes up his own medications. It's a special antibiotic, and has to inject himself. So, but when you actually do that, if anybody who's going through anything like that, they will understand that you have to keep cleaning the tubes. So what he has to do is has to inject a cleaning fluid into himself first, then has his medication, then has to clean the tube again and seal it all off. And so he does it at home rather than having to go into hospital and use up the staff unnecessarily in the beds, because they're more, they're left more important for other people that need them. So but once he's got all this long lining and everything, and because his breathing's not very good, he can't breathe, when he goes to pick up the medication, because it's so heavy. And he has like a bin liner full, and I'm not joking, he genuinely has. If you get a big black dustbin liner, they often put all of his stuff into there, and then he has what they call is a sharps bin, which is a special, it's just a big massive bucket really, with a special lid on it, so that all his needles are kept safe and secure. And so we have all of that equipment, and that means I get to drive his fancy car though. He's got a beautiful car. I love his car. And it makes my car feel really old and clapped out afterwards. But oh, he has got a lovely car. One day I shall also have a lovely car. I shall become rich and famous, and well, I don't want to be famous and like say you've got paparazzi sat out your door, because that would upset me actually, because I'm not one of those flamboyant people that wants to be photographed all the time. And say if I smile now, I've got I've got my front teeth, and then I've got gaps anyway, so I ban people from taking photos. But I've always been like that actually, because I've never had nice teeth right from the day that they decided to come through. So it's something I just live with, so I don't, it's just one of those things. Mind you, saying that, when I'm rich and famous, I could have new teeth as well, couldn't I? £33,000 it would cost to have a new set of teeth permanently implanted into my mouth. So that's one of those like long distance dreams. But I say by the time I could get anywhere, I'll be a pensioner, and I'll just have some false ones anyway. But for now, they won't give me any false teeth, because there's no point in having the ones at the top, because it's just purely cosmetic, and I'd have to pay a fortune for just cosmetic teeth, which I wouldn't be able to use because I have no teeth at the bottom, and I can't have bottom teeth fitted like that, because I've got a bony growth that grows, and even if they tried to cut out the bony growth, they said that it will grow back, so it would cause complications. So yeah, so my dad needs my help at, not today, it's all right, I haven't got to go today, but he is going to pop over to come and see me. So I says to him, I says, Dad, says, you've got to give me like half an hour so I can do this next bit of my videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this for a bit, because what we're going to do now, we've got to this at the end of this row, or round, sorry, is we're going to do another, see how it keeps curling up as I work? You know, that will happen to you. It's just part and parcel. It's because of the way that it fits the other side. These ridges push it out before they allow it to curve over. But you can see, you really can see, it does look knitted. It doesn't look crocheted until you turn it over. But even then, right, so this round of increases is, what round is actually in the pattern? It's actually round 9. Okay, so we need to do a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to work our first stitch to the right like we have done all the time, and we still do for the rest of the pattern. So we do 1 there, then we go to the next one, and this time we just do another 1, so it's there, and then into the next one we do 2. This is where I said this is it, you actually increase with your 4 times table. So but because I say, because it's got bigger, and with your 4 times table, like your 3 times table, once you get to a certain stage, it's I don't know, because we don't use it like that. We use calculators and things, you know. I mean, I know at school they want you to learn your times table, and then after that you find that you just don't use it like that. You use a calculator, you use a pen and paper, and you just don't. You just really genuinely don't use it like that. So so I've done my 2, so I now need to do a, so it's a front post double crochet. The actual pattern says a front post double crochet in the next 2, so that's 2, and then 2 front post double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and that's how it's written. I think I might do a video actually on how to read patterns, and then it may help others who actually want to write patterns. So that's a 2 there, and then we need, this one's actually an increased stitch here, so that's 1, 2, and then this is front post double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and 2 front post double crochet in the next. So I'm going to put the pattern in the description box below, like I used to do of my other ones, just so that it's easy, and then you can go and copy and paste it. I still haven't, I did before Christmas, I went and sorted out my Etsy, and before I had my the last tooth took out, and then from then onwards I really haven't been on my Etsy, because I had to play catch up with all my paperwork, because realistically, as my mum's pointed out, I've actually been poorly on and off since August, which makes a change. It's normally my dad who's poorly and me who's well, and so now I'm well, my dad's poorly again, so I'm glad that I'm well so that I can go and help him, because it's nice, you know. He it's helped me out in all sorts of different things as I've been growing up over the years, and given me advice about things, and also looked at me so scornfully when I've actually been telling him bits about my history, and especially when it's been to do with bits about the Bible, which I knew he wouldn't like. But then it's okay, because I've said to him, I needed to look at everything from a different perspective. It's not that I don't believe, and I don't want anybody else to believe. That's not what I'm trying to do. I says, I'm trying to find out why our ancestors did what they did, and how I actually made these discoveries looking for crochet. So because it was all part of my journey, I've started to write my book, because just at one point I was talking to my mum. We had a 10-hour conversation over the telephone. No, I didn't have a huge bill, because I have that thing where you, like, if you call for an hour, it's free, and then you hang up and then you call back again. So what we do is we have a timer set for 55 minutes, and then each time we get to 55 minutes, say, right, okay, then we either decide that we're going to end the conversation, or we go, okay, we'll do another hour. And I was on the phone with my mum until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning the other day. And I was telling her, I was like, Mum, I just don't know what to do. My brain's gone scrambled and I've got all this information and I don't know where to start, and moan. And she's like, right, come on then, let's get you sorted. So I was telling her all a little bit. I mean, see, my mum, she has listened to every single piece of information that I have found along my way. And when I've come to certain conclusions, she's like, have you thought about this? And have you thought about this? Sometimes the answer was yes, sometimes the answer was no. So she actually has been very, very supportive. The rest of my family, because they're busy with all their other things, I think I was driving them nuts, so I just gave in telling them stuff in the end, because they had that that glazed look of like, I'm bored out of my brains. So it's like, not everybody's into history like you know. And I thought, oh yeah, I suppose. But then the things that I've actually discovered change. Well, they have changed my view of history, for sure, definitely. So, and been doing this thing on World War Two. Because I didn't have that teacher that was like, oh, I'm all against the Nazis. And this was like, I'm going to research this in my own way. I actually found out loads of stuff that he never taught me at school. Absolutely loads. And I was like, well, I'll be. So if my history teacher from school is still alive and ever gets to read my book, I hope that I will surprise him with the new information that I've discovered. But yeah, no, I'm not going to go on and on in my book about all these different wars. It's not like that. It's the way that I'm doing my book is like I'm talking to you now. I just tell you little bits and bobs that I've found, my conclusions. I give my evidence of where I've obtained my evidence from. I've also got lots of images, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to include all of the pictures too, because I think that they actually really, really help, with visualising. All of a sudden I felt like I'd gone wrong with my pattern then. I was like, what? Have I just done the wrong amount of stitches? I'm sure I haven't, but I'm going to have to check at the end of this round just to make sure that I've got the right amount of stitches, because on this particular round we don't end on an increased stitch as far as I recall. I'm just going to check my notes on my pattern. No, we don't. We end up in between, so don't worry, this is perfectly okay. It just, see, to be honest, I've made the hat so it'll fit me, because I wanted a nice hat. I loved this shade of pink, and I designed it while I was poorly, and then I read the news article which made me decide, right, I'm going to share this for those pussy hats that are doing their demonstration, because I thought, well, women do have rights, and we are different. We should have certain allowances for the fact. It's like, like when I go shopping, because I'm small, I ask random strangers if they'll help me, like, to get things down from the top shelf. And they're always nice about that. No one ever says, oh, just because you're short you can't reach, and take the mick. They're not mean. And so I think that there's just that thing there that I don't know. See, I don't know exactly. I didn't watch everything that Donald Trump said, so I don't know why it upset you. So this double here, this one is actually the 88th stitch, and then you have to do one odd stitch to make 89. Okay, so you should have 89 stitches on this round. So I'm going to be a really, really, really good girl. Slip stitch to join in the top of your first front post double crochet, and then we're going to literally, we're going to stop. We're going to count this time around, just so that we've got the evidence of. I mean, I know that you've got your work in front of you, but 1, 2, 3. So front post double crochet with a stitch to the right, and from here on inwards, this is where we're going to just do front post stitches all the way around. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my yarn there. Now I've finished with this other hat, I can borrow this little marking clip. Oh, I can if I undo it properly. There we go. Get my little clip. You know these little clips, if you can see this one's actually got, I've left this one deliberately, I don't know if you can see it. It's got a little tiny lumpy bit on the end of it. So I personally, oh, see, look, I'm snagging already now. I personally think that you need to get your nail file out and file these to stop them from having little bits that snag your edges. Yes, this is going to make it a little bit more awkward when I come around to do the front post stitch later on, but you know, even further on after that, when you're wanting to know how many rounds you've done of just the plain front post crochet all the way around, it makes it a lot easier to count your stitches. Okay, and we also, from this point onwards, we need to do, you're going to actually do now, we need to do 20 rounds. Okay, and now I know it sounds a lot, and it's like, so it is going to take quite a while. When I was making my hat with the, do you know, with this Fiesta cotton yarn, which is, it's one of those yarns that splits really easy, so you have to take your time. It took me 4 hours to do the next section, but that was because I was going really, really slow. I wanted to do it really neat and make sure that all my stitches, there was no splits of the yarn, and if I did split it, I undid it and did it again. So I say, and already, if we count with the fact that on my first video, that was 40 minutes long, we're already nearly 20 minutes, so this is an hour already that we've actually done. So yes, okay, compared to doing things in the bigger hooks and the big fat chunky yarn, it is going to take some time, but it's just such a beautiful, beautiful hat when you're finished. It really genuinely is, and it's so comfortable. Well, I think so anyway. That's my opinion of it. Oh, my tummy started rumbling now. I tell you, these set of videos, you know, when I play it back, I'll be like, oh my days, what were you like? But I'm going to leave them as they are, because I really am genuinely not going to have the time, because I've got, I've got my son's birthday. I've got, he's already celebrated his birthday, to be fair, because he had college friends over to stay for the weekend, and then my daughter had her friend, so like we had like a house full of, I can't say kids because they're not kids anymore, because they're teenagers, and so, but yeah, so it was quite an interesting weekend, to say the least. And then I had a massive chat with my mum until the early hours of the morning, to try and get things sorted out, and then that was it. As soon as I finished the conversation with my mum, I hung up, and that was it. I just started straight away, and it took me 10 hours of handwriting to write the first chapter, which obviously, I mean, it will need editing and it will need sorting out, but I just wanted to get so much of this information out of my head and make sense of it all, which it does. And I'm really pleased. I say the new evidence that I found. Oh, one piece of evidence I found really late at night time. And I was like, yippity doo! And I wanted to jump up and down. I wanted to be so excited, but everybody was asleep. So I had to be really, really quiet. I've calmed down since then and found some more. I mean, I loved it. You know, because I've come all this way. I've searched and searched and searched high and low, and for all the books that I've been reading of, oh, books from the 1600s and the Bible. I've read the Bible. I've not all of it. I've read the oh I can't think of what it's called now. The Jewish Bible. Is it called the Torah? Something like that. I'll have it properly correct in my book because I won't, like, when I'm trying to just recall it like that, I can't recall everything because it just doesn't stay in. There's far too much information. I've read parts of the Quran. Just to see there. I've searched for the origins of the Bible and the Jewish Bible and the Quran, which is the it's Islamic, isn't it? Muslim Bible. And just because I needed to know, like just to make sure that I am actually really correct with, because I had, how you do, you start off with something, you've got a theory. I suppose that's why people call it conspiracy theorists, because they get a theory, but then it's like they think that there's some kind of conspiracy and that everybody's been hiding it, information from them, and it's all top secret stuff. And actually, it's not. Most of it is actually just readily available. You just like type it into the internet and let you. I use Google to search my information. I decided to stay with that because when I tried to do it with the Bing, it brought up different things, and I was like, well, where's the bit I was looking for in the first place? So I have decided to stay with Google. I've stayed with using King James V Bible because that was the last time that the Bible was that was actually translated from Latin into English by the Scottish. It was King James Bible that King James V. He was actually the first king of Scotland, and he gave orders for the Bible to be translated from Latin into English. So yeah, and also it's like there's all the so I've used those things, like for a definite reference, so that if you wanted to go and check up my information, that you can say, okay, then I'm going to go and have a look at the King James Bible online and just double check, and it's like, oh yeah, you just say that there, she's correct, because I didn't want to just write all of this stuff and people go, yeah, whatever. This I'm genuinely really, really serious about all of this. I've drafted about 4 different letters to write to the Queen. I've still not succeeded in getting that right because I want to. I would like the Queen to be able to read my work and have her approval of my work, because I don't know. It's just because of it being. I've actually, I did find some top secret information, but it's not top secret anymore, because you know how they do. They have top secret information and then they release it to the public. So I've used things like that as well to assist me. I've also had to have a look at, like before, like as I said, when I was doing the Dutch magazine from Penelope, and I was having to translate. Now, because they was using archaic Dutch language, it's hard to translate it over into modern English. So, but I've found some more supportive evidence for that. So there's all sorts of, I've had to translate from different languages. Fortunately, somebody online has already translated things like the Quran into English for me, so that it was easier for me to read. So that was really nice. So, and they have some beautiful, beautiful images and colours. Oh my days. In all of our old writing and everything. Oh, absolutely stunning. So I've done all of that. I've researched where did the ink come from. I've gone into great detail just to be able to prove my theory correct, because I had a theory and it's like, oh, yeah, but you need evidence. And then so I was using all of that sort of stuff, and then all of a sudden there were some physical actual artifacts which proved me right. And I was like, woohoo. Right then, so what I'm going to do now, because I've done this video for 25 minutes and I told my dad that he'd got to give me half an hour before he was allowed to come round so I could do this video. Okay, so what all you're going to do now, I'm just going to show you this bit because I know it's a bit fiddly. So you still want to work into this, into the top of your first front post double crochet to join. You want to do your chain of 3, 1, 2, 3. You want to come and do your front post double crochet to the right hand stitch there. This is where you need to actually front post into this, where you've actually got your little, you've got your marker. So you just need to just go slowly. That's my advice for this point. And also into the next one, just take your time just to get past this. And then from this point onwards, this little, apart from you feeling it when you actually go around, the actual marker doesn't get in your way really. I mean, you can see it sort of keeps bobbing up and down while I'm working. And so what you need to do is you need to do 20 rows of this particular stitch. Now just keep going round and around and around and around and around and around, which is a bit like my history, just goes round and round in circles really, and leads you all the way back to the beginning. So yeah, the only thing that I'm stuck on now is what to call my book. I've got a title for the first chapter and I've got a title for the second chapter, because I've already begun the second chapter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing, because can you believe it? I've made it to 27,000 subscribers. That's nearly as many people who live in my town. That's just mental. And what was it? 3,700,000 and something views. So I really do appreciate all my views, all my subscribers and all of the comments. I do keep reading them. I will get around to actually going online one day and answering them again, because I do play this backup thing with myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat for the next video, because what I've done is I've already crocheted the baby hat to the point where I need to add on the ribbon. Okay, so in the next video we're actually going to see me crocheting in this aqua blue, which you can still see. Obviously it's still, this is the one where we went work to 67 stitches all the way around, whereas this one's actually got 89. So this one will fit out, this one will fit newborn baby, and it's, because it's got that nice stretch to it. It's going to be really warm, because of this lining, the way that it forms. So if you do have it for a baby, when the baby's inside, please take the baby's hat off. If you're in a supermarket or something and your baby's wrapped up for the outside, your baby is going to just boil. So take your hat off, okay? Undo the jackets and everything, and then when you're finished, wrap back up again, ready to go outside. But these are absolutely brilliant for, what was it, for the lady in Canada who wanted something really nice and thick. I know you wanted ear flaps. I will show you how to do ear flaps at another point, but for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this video. So which one, we was in part 2, weren't we? So part 3 is going to be adding the ribbon, which you can theoretically add to any hat that you've already knitted or crocheted. Okay, so thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing. Bye for now.